And we're back
Hello, everyone.
from Merv.
Merv, the city of spices.
Yes, we just finished a full playthrough. You can check the links down below for the overview and the first round, as well as the extended playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about Merv.
Yes, so we usually start with art and components,
Yeah.
don't we? This is a Neo tool game, so it's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as usability goes, like I do remember having some nitpicks about things not on the board, but I couldn't find them in our last playthrough, so they were probably that insignificant, so that's nice. I like the division of the board into areas.
Yeah.
I think it's really cute. Like you have the color over here, so this one
Right.
flows, and you have these, and it's nice.
Yeah.
There's artistry in here.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
You can almost put it like this. Yeah. So I agree. I think the art, obviously, tool is excellent. I think they did some parts of the usability very well, in the sense of the fact that they did manage to put all the little rules of how to activate the actions very well. I think the tiles themselves are a little bit too busy. I mean, it's not the end of the world because
But it has 4 distinct areas.
Yeah, you
so
do.
it's easy to find.
Yeah, you do focus on just the action. I wish that
So cute.
this is cute.
These are cute.
I wish they put the fact that you can either activate the building or place a soldier or get a favor somewhere on the board. And I think the fact that these are different, they just
It's a bit weird.
it's weird. Yeah, it is a bit weird. It just it raises questions which there are no reason to ask them, and usually games do not do that. I mean,
Yeah, they usually don't
yeah.
add additional information that you don't need.
Yeah. Yeah, but otherwise, I think the cars are great. And yeah, okay, so that's for art and components. So, what do you think about the mechanisms?
Um, well, there's stuff that I like here and there's stuff that I dislike here. I think that the whole raid thingy is very cute, and I think that in a high number of players it works really nicely. I also really like the dummy player.
Yeah.
I think that they add a lot more strategy than usually you have in these sorts of games. Like if we take Glenmore, for example, Glenmore also has a Doom die where you roll and it just eats up tiles, but there's no strategy in it. It's a die.
Right.
Whereas here, once you get the game, you can kind of use him to hinder and he becomes an interesting factor in the game. So kudos for that. That means that if you're playing it in a low player count, it's still a bit spicy. It's still nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the scaling of the game
It
is
compensates
done.
for no scaling down.
It does. Yeah, it does so very well.
Compensates for it greatly.
Yeah.
What else? I think that it has a bit too many mechanisms, and I'll go a bit more into depth in my full review, but you cannot more than minimally interact with all the areas of the board.
Yeah.
Which, obviously, by design, yes, great, but most of your points come from these, which require interacting with only 2 of them. This area is kind of meh, and everything over here with the
Influence.
it feels a bit artificial. It's like we have the walls, we have a great idea for what to do with the walls. How do we reward players for them? So this feels like artificially restricting you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get what I'm saying. This
Yeah.
action is just meh, and this action, it's not an action, but getting here is just meh, unless you start with the walls. It's a bit clumsy there, a bit clunky.
Yeah. So just like Kalimala and what was the other one? The second game with the hexes and the walls around the city. I forget the name.
Ragusa?
Ragusa, yes. So it's the same designer, Kalimala and Ragusa and him, and this one, and Merv. And they definitely feel very similar. Not just from a thematic standpoint where you just build a wall around a city, but also from the fact that There's a lot of there's a board. There's a board of that you fill up with your cities in all three games, and there's a lot of interaction there. But I think that again with the previous two games as this one as well, each one of these actions is they're too thinly spread out, meaning there are too many actions of them, and each one of them isn't important. Like it doesn't feel like it's major enough. So it feels like a lot of small little actions, and for example, I'm okay with games that sort of push you into one direction, into one strategy.
But you can't here.
But it's very difficult here, right? And so you feel like, okay, I need to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and the end result is that I just did a little bit of everything. Maybe I'm wrong. Like we play this, I think with 3 players twice. No, with 3 players once, and twice just with 2 players. I don't think we've played it with 4. No. We haven't.
We haven't played it with 4.
I don't think it changes a lot, but I think that
it changes a bit, because even in 3 players, when you have someone who's not a dummy player, then the walls fill up quickly. So it does change a bit in the nature of the game, but it doesn't change a lot. You still have the same number of actions. You will not have more options.
Right.
Just some of those options will close up really quickly. You'll have less score, but it's still the same game.
Yeah, and again, I tend to not sort of enjoy the puzzle of, okay, I'll go here, I'll get 3 cubes. They're very important. Their color is very important because they very much, dictate what I can do. And then the question becomes, okay, what's the best option of all of the little options that I get? Which again isn't too interesting. I mean, it's okay that it's an optimization game. It's just that
it needs a bit more.
It doesn't feel rewarding in any sense. Like there's no big crescendo, I feel like, because again, there are 4 types of cubes, and the most that you'll get is, I mean, again, you could go the extra mile to try to get here, but then you're not. You're letting go of other stuff that you can do, and it's not really clear. Like maybe on the 10th game, you know that, okay, this game I'll just forget about libraries, but you do need to get some scrolls in order to get contracts. So maybe I'll leave the library and the contracts alone, and then I'll just go for this and this.
Theoretically, you could go for just walls and the resources, because these do not require scrolls or the library, but even then it's a weird sort of optimization.
Right, and if I went here, there's like, again, I feel like if I go here at least once, then I might as well go here a second time, because then at my second time I could I could buy more stuff. So it sort of tells me, okay, you should come here several times, as well as here. Maybe not here, especially, and here as well. So again, I mainly feel like I'm missing out. It's a game of FOMO, this game. Whatever I do, I feel like I should have gone the other way around, or to another place, or I have to at some point. So I don't know. I just don't like the feeling that it imbues within me, this game.
So I'm gonna be, since we slid into the review already, we spoke mechanism, but yes. So I'll try and articulate my thoughts. This feels like someone tried to make a baby's first Lacerda game. You see the similarity.
Yes.
There are 5 major actions, there's an auxiliary action, they all give you points, they all give you different things, but the game is too short and the actions don't feel too meaningful. This is a medium light game, and I think it would have been much more enjoyable if it were on the heavier side. That is, if you had a few more turns, in which case the raids became significant. Maybe you had some damage to the walls or a slightly bigger city, or maybe you made the resources less generic because they don't really mean anything. Like there's a way to make this heavier and more interesting. At its current weight, it's nice. It's medium light. It's unoffensive, but it's not really memorable. Like Idan said, there's no crescendo. You don't feel like you specialized. You feel like you made mini optimizations every turn, and then the game suddenly ended. Basically, if you play this 4 or 5 times and you're an experienced player, you will deconstruct it to I have 12 actions. Resources don't really matter because these are the same and these are the same, and the cubes could just be interchanged for camels. These are same resource, these are different resource. So I'm like, okay, here I'll get the same resource, here I'll get different resources, here I'll go here I'll go here, and that's it. And it feels a bit like it could have either done with removing 1 or 2 of these locations so that the game is more focused and it earns its medium lightweight, or go full on heavy, make the resources different, make these different, give them a drawing, like, give them a
river of cards, you mean?
either a river of cards or
Draft.
a draft, or give them a draft. Like, make it heavy, make it with some substance. The way it's in the middle, it's nice. I wouldn't mind playing it, but if we kept it, I'd probably forget it exists within a month.
Yeah, I'm super interesting to know if anybody can get.
You are interesting though.
I'm super interested to know if someone can get up to here.
And just for the record, I don't think any one of us has ever passed
It's
this.
so many cubes. It's like it has to be a
And
third
it
or a
gives
fourth
you
of the
no
game.
points. It just gives you no
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
You have to get to here to get to the points, and these bonuses, they look really cool, but
Yeah.
you will not interact with a location that much. So it's really not a big deal. Not only that, but these, you have to place them after you place the walls, otherwise you risk losing it, and it just...
The fact that they have additional points like here and here and here, it feels like
This one is slightly justified because we always passed the 4.
okay.
But this entire tracker, I think the game would have been much better without these 2. With something different. Maybe make the different resources, the rare and the basic ones.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, this could have been heavier and a bit more interesting. As it is, it's a bit bland, inoffensive, and in my opinion, nice. I think he disagrees.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. That's okay.
No, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I mean, again, if you like Lacerda games and you see, and you see some kind of, the same inkling as a Lacerda game, then you should try this out. And if you like super optimization, micro actions games, I mean, I can say the flip side. If you like Kalimala and Ragusa, you probably will like this one as well. Because again, the designer does feel consistent. I mean, they all feel like they are based on the same core ideas with very, they're not the same, right? But the designer does come through, and I guess I could appreciate that in and of itself.
I was actually rather bored by Ragusa, and this one did not bore me.
Okay.
So I think it's better, but it's a personal opinion.
And yeah, all right.
So to sum it up, you did not appreciate the game, and it's probably going on the sale list.
Yes.
I liked it enough to play it. I didn't like it enough to argue that we should keep it. There are plenty of games that I argue that we should keep. This is not one of them. And I honestly think that if you have a room in your collection for a medium light game that's kind of
It's not medium
there.
light, it's medium. There are a lot of rules here.
There are a lot of rules, but there's not much complexity.
Right. Okay.
That's why I call it medium light. It's also short.
Right.
It's not that long.
Yeah.
Like the game is aimed at something, and I don't know. If you don't have Sagrada and you want something of the same weight, then I think
What?
it's not the same weight as Sagrada. I think it is.
What?
We can argue about that later.
What? Sagrada and this one?
Weight-wise, yes.
That's the most outrageous thing you've said in this series, and you've said a lot. No.
You see, that was a trick so that you'll forget my prep joke earlier. We can argue about that offline. If you have room in your collection for something that's medium light, give this a try. It's not a warm recommendation. It's a very lukewarm one, but it's not a negative one like yours.
No, I'm just comparing
Focus,
this.
honey, focus.
Comparing this in Sagrada, I mean, Sagrada is so tight in the sense of the mechanisms of it.
Weight. I said the word weight 6 times. Weight-wise.
But what is weight?
Weight is looking at the room around you and saying, I have experienced players, I want something heavy that's 2 hours. Or I have inexperienced players, I want something whose mechanisms are fairly simple, and that I can take players who are not very experienced to the table. That's what I define as medium light.
All right.
I never said it's as good as Sagrada or that it shares
I'm not
mechanisms.
I'm not talking about ranking at all. No, for me personally, I think this is 1 or 2 steps in complexity above.
You explained it to
Sagrada.
me in 5 minutes. You explained it to guests we had in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe the manual makes it seem complex, but we explained all of the rules and all of those in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. We will continue this argument through the
It's
night.
a discussion. No, I just think that between this and Sagrada, there's for example, Rococo. It's in the middle. This is less intuitive than Rococo, for example. But maybe I don't know. Maybe
You know what's the fun thing about being a gay couple? I want to make a sleeping on the sofa joke, and I'm not sure which one of us is supposed to be sleeping on the sofa.
Okay. I don't know why. That's okay. All right. So
Thank you for joining us for this domestic dispute.
it's a discussion. All right. So we hope you enjoyed this video and review. And there are links down below for the overview and first round, as well as the extended playthrough. And we'll see you next time. And stay safe.
Stay safe and enjoy your board games. Have fun.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.